Hello, it is Saturday the 15th of April 2017 and welcome to the 9th in my video blog series. My name is Councillor Graeme Campbell and I've represented the people of Avondale and Stonehouse for the last 10 years. This week I would like to talk about the campaign because I have to admit that it is hotting up with leafleting going out across the entire ward and also the hustings last Monday night in Stonehouse, run by George and the Roberts of Stonehouse Community Council. So my campaign continued last weekend with the first of two leaflets going out across the majority of the ward. The first was a leaflet dedicated to Avondale and again highlighting my number one priority in the Straven area and the requirement for social housing going forward. My next leaflet was dedicated to Stonehouse and in fact has already been delivered to an awful lot of the village over the last day or two. My Stonehouse leaflet focuses on my number one priority in the village, and that is a common sense approach to development and therefore the delivery of new homes, new businesses and even a secondary school. Both the Avondale and the Stonehouse leaflet has the same reverse page, focusing on the need to improve education, the roads, and continue the reduction of rural crime across the entire ward. The campaign moved up a gear on Monday evening with the Stonehouse Community Council Meet the Candidates event. This excellent evening replaced the normal Stonehouse Community Council agenda, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank George Smith, Robert Craig and Robert Friel for organising what was an absolutely fantastic evening. George, Robert and Robert were joined at the front table by 5 of the 8 candidates standing for Avondale and Stonehouse Ward 5 on Thursday the 4th of May 2017. So I was joined on stage by Alistair Hendry representing himself as an independent councillor, Erica Young representing the Scottish Green Party, Mary Toolbury and Isabel Dorman representing the Scottish Nationalist Party. I was led to believe that UKIP didn't even respond to George Smith's request to join the panel, so I will leave you to decide your thoughts on UKIP. The Liberal Democrat candidate declined to join due to a previous engagement in London and left a statement to be read out during the closing statements by George Smith, but I will cover more about that later. Councillor Margaret Cooper from the Scottish Labour Party was unable to attend. I know there have been quite a few comments about her lack of attendance from the community. All I'm going to say is that I have known and worked with Margaret for the last 5 years. I know that her elderly parents have been quite ill recently and therefore her parents are her absolute number one priority at the moment, and I do understand that Margaret wasn't able to attend Monday night's meeting. Using a question time style approach to the debate on Monday evening, George Smith from the Stonehouse Community Council did a fantastic job chairing the debate on Monday evening. So with 5 candidates representing 3 political parties and an independent on the panel, the debate got underway and the first topic was planning and development in Stonehouse. All of you watching this video blog will already know that my number one priority for Stonehouse is a development programme for the village that will see a large-scale development of housing, small businesses and retail for Stonehouse. Now I understand that not everyone in the village is in favour of the plan or the programme that I have in mind. But I certainly got a feeling from the audience that attended Monday night's Meet the Candidates session that the majority of Stonehouse would like to see the village improve. I also understand that the majority of Stonehouse would like to see the centre of the village, or the cross as it's known, receive a lot more money for a lot more improvement. Now, I think we all have to realise that around a decade ago, South Lancashire Council did invest an awful lot of money in the village. But sadly, as a council, we don't own the buildings that surround the cross. So as a council, the fact that we all live in a democracy means that we cannot force the buildings, or the building owners, should I say, to make the improvements that the village want. So we're left with a dilemma. Do we continue to leave Stonehouse remaining as it is, or do we look at a new large-scale development programme that will see Stonehouse improve, will see Stonehouse get the facilities that the people want, whether it's a gym, whether it's an outdoor running track, whether it is improvements to the park, or even a sports centre. The people of Stonehouse are telling me they want improvements in the village, and as a Conservative councillor, I do not see any other way to deliver those without bringing new money into the village. Given their position over the last 5 years, I'm really not too sure where Labour and the SNP really stand with an increased development programme in Stonehouse. But all I can say from the evening last Monday is that I certainly got the feeling that all the candidates would support a development programme in Stonehouse. I have to admit that I was left a little bit confused on Monday evening by something Councillor Isabel Dorman from the SNP said. I've checked with a couple of other people that attended Monday evening's event, and they all agree with me that Isabel was very clear and said that she did not support where the Stonehouse Lifestyles was built. Now, I can't be sure if it was just a general comment made by Isabel Dorman, but when we planned, when we built, and we ultimately opened the Stonehouse Lifestyle Centre on Straven Road, Isabel was certainly not a councillor. In fact, Councillor Jim Malloy, who has not been a councillor representing Avondale now for 5 years, he actually opened the Stonehouse Lifestyles. So again, I have to admit that I am a little bit confused about what the SNP are standing for when it comes to the development of Stonehouse. I'm also left confused and asking the question that if the SNP are in support of the expansion of Stonehouse, why did they reject the planning application several years ago that would have seen a large-scale housing, small business and retail centre being built in the village? And again, Mary said several times on Monday night that the SNP are all for giving control back to the community. The community have been telling us that they want the village to expand. They want new facilities in Stonehouse. But again, the SNP have left me completely confused because they rejected the planning application that was presented to the council 2 years ago. George then moved the debate on to the next topic, and that is education and the provision for schools in Stonehouse. A secondary school built in the village. With increased development in Straven, we will soon see fewer and fewer placements requests being accepted for Straven Academy, and Lark Hall Academy will continue to take in more students as Lark Hall grows through increased development. But as it sits right now, there is absolutely no provision or thought process from any other person but myself going into a secondary school or a potential secondary school in Stonehouse. With every secondary school age student in Stonehouse having to be bused to either Straven, Lark Hall or Hamilton, it is no wonder that the people of Stonehouse are telling me that they would like a secondary school for the village. Alistair Hendry, Erica Young, Mary Toolbury all agreed with the audience that Stonehouse deserved a secondary school. I have to say that I think everybody there was left scratching their head on Monday night, because Isabel Dorman was very clear on what she said, and that is that she is not in favour of a secondary school being built at Stonehouse if it required private funding. Why are some in the SNP so anti-business? At the end of the day, 42% of the Central Scotland economy comes from the public sector, and 58% of the Central Scotland economy comes from the private sector. So Isabel, are you telling me that 58% of our economy is bad? Because at the end of the day, every secondary school that has been built through the Schools Modernisation Project in South Lancashire so far has been built using private initiatives. The money is coming from the private sector. I reminded everyone on Monday night that the highest performing school in Scotland is Jordan Hill. Jordan Hill is not a private school. It is also not a council-run school. It is a grant-maintained school, a school that receives its money direct from Edinburgh, free of council bureaucracy, but yet delivering a free education to every secondary school age student living in the Jordan Hill catchment area. Why then are the SNP so anti-using private initiative, private money to build a school that would deliver a high quality, free education to every secondary school age student in Stonehouse, saving them being bused to Straven, Larkhall or even Hamilton? Stonehouse deserves a secondary school, and I feel that the only way that we can fund the secondary school is to deliver a common sense set of plans, a common sense development programme for Stonehouse that will see us bring new houses, new businesses and new shops into the village, that will deliver new services, new facilities for Stonehouse, including a secondary school. One of the other topics that came up on Monday night was parks and recreation. But I think we have to as councillors and candidates, we're constantly being reminded by people in Stonehouse how good the parks and recreation facilities are in Straven. Rugby and football pitch that's recently been completed at the Straven Rugby Club. All of these sports facilities, outdoor facilities, were paid for by money raised by the people in Straven. Back in 2009, I attended a meeting with the then councillors Bill Holman, Lynn Filshe and Jim Malloy. In partnership with council officers, we all agreed a package of funding that would see the improvements to the Alexandra Memorial Park in Stonehouse. As councillors this term, myself, Margaret Cooper, Bill Holman and Isabel Dorman have all worked to ensure that the funding was delivered to improve the main park in Stonehouse. I'm fairly confident that the majority in Stonehouse agree that we did the right thing. Taking planning game money and supplementing it with additional money from South Lancashire Council, and on top of that additional grant money, we have been able to fund what is, I think, an excellent programme to improve the Stonehouse Park. As you would expect, roads and pavements were certainly a hot topic at the debate on Monday night. I'm not sure that any of the candidates would have disagreed that we should continue to prioritise and spend money and deliver investment to improve our roads and pavement infrastructure across South Lancashire Council, including Stonehouse, Straven and all the villages across Avondale. And this leaves everyone in Avondale with a choice. I was potentially going to vote on May the 4th this year, but I've now made up my mind based on the debate in Stonehouse on Monday night. I am definitely going to be voting for me number 1, that's not going to be a surprise, Margaret Cooper number 2 and Alistair Hendry number 3. My name is Councillor Graeme Campbell and I am the Conservative and Unionist Party candidate for South Lancashire Council, Ward 5, Avondale and Stonehouse, asking for your support on Thursday the 4th of May 2017. Thank you for watching.